have been falling for 30 minutes. If you actually think that I was just the right gay guy, gay guy, gay guy, gay guy, nigga, gay guy, gay guy. And you check your count. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the world's wokest warrior, primitive-sided, toxic fanboy, aligned with the like-minded Tony Tone Deaf rocking with you. I want to welcome one and all to the Clown World Review. What's up, everybody? Keely Chow, Chris Fisk in the chat. Great to see you both. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, tonight we're going to talk some Monday Night War. We're closing out the month of January 1996. Things are picking up in the WWF. Things are picking up in WCW. Big things happening. Championship matches, title changes, you name it, it's going on. These two brands are definitely starting to take the gloves off and really go at it, really starting to hype up their shows. They're picking up on the insults. It's getting real interesting to, watch this again, because we didn't have DVR, we didn't have WWE Network, all these great things that we have in modern times. We didn't have that when this was going on in real time. It was one and done. If you weren't taping that on your VCR, that's it. You got to wait till next week, maybe Shotgun Saturday Night or WWF Superstars, watch some of the clips from the happenings of Monday night. But now knowing where all this leads and getting to go back and watch it, it adds some interesting perspective. And with me, as always, the fandom vampire. He's the vampire for all the fandom. There's not a movement big enough to contain his vampireness.
Hey guys, I'm looking forward to talking some wrestling. I've been busy as crazy, but it's always fun coming here talking some wrestling. So,
yes, thank you, Angelous Draven, for joining us once again. God, I love talking wrestling. The time goes by so quick. And hail Etep Wokuian in the chats. We see you, brother. Everybody send Etep your well wishes. Maybe say a little prayer for the guy. He's he's under the weather right now, but Etep's a fighter, so ain't no cold, ain't no bug, ain't no flu gonna hold this man down. He will be back next week to give you his insight on the world of professional wrestling. Man, just before we really get into the details of it, what did you think about these 2 weeks, January 22nd and January 29th of 1996?
I just watched them just a little bit ago, so they're pretty good. I watched the Raws so far, and one of the episodes of Nitro, and I think I like at least so far, I like the Raws more. Just seems like more is going on, a little bit better of a story for once going on over in Raw, like with the whole Vader and Guerrilla Monsoon and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into it later, but who they replace Monsoon with. But yeah,
it's awesome. I was watching the 1995 episodes, and it was very vanilla. It was very, I don't know how else to describe it, but it was very 1995. And it feels like they stepped through a doorway. Like maybe Vince had the few weeks off for the holiday, Only had to really worry about maybe a few house shows, the December in your house, and it's like he took that time to reflect
Mm-hmm.
and then come back into the new year and add a little more edge to his product, because again it was very very bland, these
Mm-hmm.
1995 episodes. Now we're starting to see less Dean Douglas and more Ringmaster, less
Mm-hmm.
King Mabel, more Vader. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just a little bit better. You know, Undertaker's back from his injury and he's in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course the return of legends like the acting WWF president while Guerrilla Monsoon is away, which God,
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of these episodes. I kind of wasn't expecting that, so it was cool to
Mm-hmm.
see.
Yeah, I was thinking this was where they made Vince like the thing, like that transition. But I
Yeah,
get, but it wasn't.
yeah. I don't think he officially comes out of the closet until the Montreal Screwjob.
Oh, okay.
Ring the damn bell.
But
Yes. So let's jump into this. Oops, one of my things didn't open here. Nitro from January 22nd. And let's go ahead and start with this one. Why? Because it's live from Las Vegas,
mm-hmm.
taking place at Caesar's Palace, which is interesting. You know, we don't get that often anymore here in Las Vegas. They're always at one of our arenas now, but I love the outside WCW shows or wrestling shows in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just adds something to it, you know. And if they did it every week, it wouldn't be great. But how Nitro's usual setup is, it's nice every few weeks, every few months to do something special like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I get like it that you doesn't reverberate the crowd as well, but it's fun. It adds a fun
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah, I like the older like quarter pay-per-views instead of like every month. I feel like it makes them less special when it's every month.
Agreed.
And then like you can have like a whole like couple months or at least 2 or 3 month like build up to stories and get things going, and then come the pay-per-view kind of either finish those up or at least ride them to their peak, and then after that you can either continue some more of it or transition into like a newer rivalry with those storylines.
Yeah, it feels too much like, I mean, sometimes if you want to do a pay-per-view, like maybe you're doing them for a quarter this part of the year and this part of, then at one part of the year you might want to, okay, here's this pay-per-view the next month, here's this one, then here's this one, then go back into something like that is even okay, but it gets too it feels too much like a machine, like this 30-day turnover. You know, and then you end up getting, oh, well, it's Randy Orton versus Cena again on pay-per-view, even though we just saw it last pay-per-view, instead of them building it up to one big match. And then you have the blow off at the pay-per-view, or at least the next step in their feud.
Yeah.
But every month, yeah, I agree. I think it's too much. And maybe even during the Monday Night War when people couldn't get enough, fine. But, you know, I don't think it would have hurt the WWF much by pulling back a little bit.
Well, that and like now, like with they have like the same person like holding. They only have a few superstars, so it's like, why would you like it's few like main event guys? Like, why would you constantly have a pay-per-view to like have them in it when you could build it up and make them better and larger than life than what they already like? You know what I mean?
It's Randy Orton versus Cena.
Yeah. But it's like every month, or Roman Reigns, you see him every month at a pay-per-view doing some shit match. But yeah.
Yes, I get it. And then you start getting the ridiculous stipulations on the matches just to try to shake things up a bit. And it's just, it's not fun. The fun gets taken out of it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this Nitro, it was actually the weekly loser with a 2.7 rating, which is still a pretty monster rating compared to what they were doing when we first started this, But the audience on both sides are growing, regardless of who's the winner, who's the loser.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides are up in the ratings simultaneously. The audience is growing. So word's probably getting around. There's 2 wrestling shows, and people that were jaded from the WWF are probably tuning back into WCW. And then, let's see what's going on WWF. You go over there, they're bagging on Billionaire Ted and Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is it? Nacho Man and
the Huckster.
Huckster. That's fucked up.
Well, you don't test me for steroids. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And
it's in my contract that I would never lose the title.
Yeah, the press conference. Is it true that you're trying to undercut the WWF's ad buy rates? Like, they're just going at it. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Like, people don't even know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the announcers hyped the show. Again, we have Eric Bischoff, Bobby Heenan, Steve Mongo McMichael. Was Pepe at the Las Vegas one? I think so. I can't believe that dog hasn't barked on camera yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the WCW debut of Conan, who at this time is the Mexican heavyweight champion. He shows up behind the announcers, says he'll defend the Mexican heavyweight championship against Psychosis tomorrow night at Clash of Champions, which I didn't go to this, and it looks really fun. They were in Las Vegas for a doubleheader. They did Nitro Monday, Clash of Champions on TBS Tuesday. Our first match is Macho Man Randy Savage with woman Nancy Benoit and the Ho Train, all kinds of girls with them.
Mm-hmm.
He comes
Wasn't
down.
one of them Deborah? It looked like one of them was Deborah.
It did. And that was Steve Mongo McMichael's wife at the time, Deborah McMichael. So it very well may have been. Yeah. So, of course, big event feel, Caesar's Palace, WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Macho Man versus Ric Flair. Why wouldn't Hogan get involved?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't his fucking mustache be all over this?
Yep.
And it is. Hogan, the champ. Sorry, he's not the champion. The challenger in a championship match is making his entrance, and Hogan comes following Randy Savage down, gets on the mic, wishes his best friend luck, and then he just cuts the same fucking promo he did last Nitro. I want the first shot. I want dude, it's not crack.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yep. Slow your roll there, buddy. Well, he doesn't even have the title yet. So slow your roll.
Yeah. If you win, I want the first shot, brother. Yeah, I know. You said that last week during my celebration, motherfucker. Savage.
He's like that friend that, you just had something awesome happen, and they're like, "Oh, congratulations!" And then they kind of cut you off and go into their own shit. It's yeah, that's cool, bro, but that was my time to shine.
Yes.
Just shut your mouth.
Yes, and I'm going to argue that Hogan is more of a heel here than he ever was as Hollywood Hogan, because at least Hollywood told you how he felt straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Here, he's telling Savage he's his friend, but he ain't acting much like a friend.
Mm-mm.
So, and that's how Savage is. As Savage straight up said, what it is what it is, Hogan. But first, let me go out here and wrestle my fucking match.
Yep.
So, with that being said, Macho Man Randy Savage defeats Ric Flair for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship live on Nitro. I'm happy to see it because he only got a short title reign, and I like to see Macho with the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Arn Anderson attempted to interfere in the match, and he accidentally punched Ric Flair with a pair of brass knuckles, leading Macho Man to drop his elbow on Ric. And now it's the celebration. It's Macho Man's time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
And here's Hogan once again getting in the fucking ring during Savage's celebration. And Hogan's all in his shit. And Macho Man finally takes the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm thinking watching this. And Macho Man takes the mic and he's like, brother, you're celebrating like you won the match.
Mm-hmm.
This is my match. This is my championship. I won this. And you're just clowning around in the ring.
Oh, yeah, Hogan, I know that you're trying to stick it to Miss Elizabeth. Yeah, I do. And I'm not going to put up with it.
Oh, bro. And speaking of Elizabeth, they keep hyping this up during this Nitro. She's going to make her return to Hogan and Savage as they team up against Ric Flair and the Giant tomorrow night at Clash of Champions. So Elizabeth is coming back. There's some validity to what the Pigster just said.
I don't know what you're talking about, brother. Hulkamania and Pigomania is running wild, and I'm always a champion, even if I don't have the belt. It's in my contract.
It sounds like a huckster skit.
Yeah, it does.
So Savage says they've been to hell 12 times and back.
Yep.
And this title shot Hogan's asking for, it's going to be unlucky number 13. Hogan takes the mic and says, congrats on being champion. But Macho did have help from Hogan, and Hogan wants the first title shot. Savage says Hogan needs to earn his number one contendership, and Savage will give him the shot. Hogan says he'll wrestle the one-man gang and do whatever it takes to get to that number one contendership. Hogan wants it to happen here in Las Vegas. Savage says, look, whomever wins, you get the number one contendership. We wrestle for the championship. If I lose, I'm going to shake your hand. And if you lose, you're going to shake my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I tell you what, brother. Oh, yeah, just because you got the number one title and you got the belt doesn't mean that you're first in line for Miss Elizabeth.
How are you going to go from Macho Man Randy Savage to Lex fucking Luger? Like, she could have had anybody in the world.
Yep.
Lex Luger.
Yep.
She wanted to get on board the Lex Express.
Yep.
So, Etep, brother, it's okay. You can say, I got the Rona. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to get my horse paste. That Rogan cocktail.
Goddamn.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And yeah, thanks for joining us, Chris Fisk. Get those reps in, bro. We'll be here when you get back, maybe.
Yeah, he's got a lot of lifting to do. You know, he's got to get down to the post office, mail all those Infinitail books.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Got a lot of work to do.
Yep.
Yes. So, yeah, that's how Nitro opens. WCW World Title match. World Title change. Or Savage is the, I almost said Hogan because it's basically true at this point. Savage is the champion again. Then we go into our next match. Flying Brian Pillhead defeats Dean Malenko when he uses the ropes to leverage pin Malenko's shoulders to the mat.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that pin. It was so lazy looking, too.
Yeah, yeah. So next we have our second title match of the night, the World Tag Team Championship. Sting and Lex Luger defeat the champion Harlem Heat for the titles. So we've got two changes on this one Nitro, and keep in mind they were the weekly loser this week, but we had two title changes. Basically, the referee's busy. Sting isn't looking.
Mm-hmm.
Luger punches Booker T with a roll of silver dollars that explode when he punches Booker T. There are fucking coins all over the ring. And the referee, Sting, no one even thinks to question, how did all this money get here?
Mm-hmm.
Sting's just celebrating with this title, and the commentators are like, is he gonna like question this? Did he see what happened?
Yeah, of course they seen what happened. They seen that Michelle Obama ran across the ring. She dropped her quarters. It was all good.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Fucking Luger punched Booker T with Michelle Obama's cock.
It's Vegas, you know. Coins are you know, thrown all around as per usual. So nothing to see here, but folks.
Yeah. So now that we've gotten the worthless title matches out of the way, you know, and with both having title changes, and that includes the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Now that we've gotten those worthless fucking things out of the way, we get our Hogan main event versus the current U.S. Heavyweight Champion, the one-man gang, in a non-title match. Of course, y'all said it earlier, it's in his contract to win every time. Hogan defeats the gang with the leg drop to minimal reaction from the crowd.
Yep.
Followed by the Dungeon of Doom and the Horsemen coming out from the back. They start attacking Hogan. Savage runs out to help his quote-unquote friend. After the bad guys have been vanquished, Hogan and Savage square off, and Hogan again talks about his fucking title shot. This is like the fourth time, because I'm counting before the match and after the match. Hogan talked about his title shot. He ended last week's Nitro talking about his title shot.
Yep.
He talks about it again after his match. Like, dude, like, you've got a problem. You need to go meditate. Take a couple weeks off. Go shoot Thunder in Paradise. Do whatever the fuck you need to do. But
Paradise.
He's treating that thing like it's heroin.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm pretty sure when you wear the WCW title, it like slow releases opiates into your system or something. Because, yeah, Hogan ain't acting right, and he ain't. Again, he's not. He's being more of a heel right now than he ever was as Hollywood, and it's not in an ironic fashion. They're trying to push him as a babyface, and I'm sitting there watching like, this isn't how a hero. This is a lefty hero, for lack of a better term, you know? So, yeah. They hype up the match tomorrow against Giant and Flair at Clash of Champions. And again, they hype that Miss Elizabeth will be returning tomorrow to manage the Mega Powers as they kind of make their return to the ring. So, yeah, they're pretty good Nitro. Again, they were live from Caesar's Palace, so it gave the whole episode kind of a special feel.
The only thing I wish is that Hogan would have left a little pinky in the pants. Oh, yeah.
All I'm saying is she left Savage. In real life, Elizabeth left Savage and went and stayed with Hogan and Linda. That's all I'm saying. I think something happened.
Nothing happened, brother.
They gave Linda a Quaalude, some champagne. She fell asleep. Hogan put on his little Lex Luger mask. Little plastic Luger mask he got for Halloween. Yeah.
That's
He
fun.
wasn't going to replace me, brother. There's no way.
Hogan probably had cocaine. That's all it takes usually.
No, why do you think his mustache was always bleached out?
Yeah. Harder to see it.
It's like as Hollywood, he kept dyeing his mustache black too, but it only lasted a couple hours. Yeah, dude, you tell a girl you got a bag of coke and you just watch her eyes light up like Bambi. So, yeah, 2.7 rating. The Weekly Loser, which is still a big rating. It's a bigger rating than either show was getting as the winner a couple months ago. But now we go into Raw. Now, this is probably why Raw won, actually. I wasn't taking this into account a little while ago. We are hot off the heels of the 96 Royal Rumble, and Raw garners a 2.9 rating. They are live from Stockton, California, just a few hours away from Nitro. So they're both in the same neighborhood here. And the show begins with the recap of the 96 Royal Rumble. We are on the road to WrestleMania. We are on the road to the boyhood dream coming true, as Shawn Michaels has won the Rumble and will face the WWF champion at WrestleMania 12. Also, Goldust defeated Razor Ramon and is the new WWF Intercontinental Champion, and Bret Hart successfully defended his WWF Championship against The Undertaker in a controversial match. Diesel gets involved. Yeah, and that's going to have repercussions here in a couple weeks, so...
It all happened before I lost my smile.
Before 9 guys took me out, which was 1 Marine because I was talking shit. Yeah. So King says Bret was injured last night at the Rumble, but tonight he will have to face Goldust, Intercontinental Champion versus WWF Champion in a non-title match. Jim Cornette is in the ring, and he asks what time it is. It's Vader time, and out comes Vader, who debuted last night in the Rumble. He was tearing a hole in everyone's ass. And then him and Yokozuna, who are both Cornette guys, end up getting into it. They start trading blows, and while they're doing that, they're close to the ropes, and Shawn Michaels sneaks up and dumps all fucking 800 pounds of them out of the ring.
Damn.
So Vader gets in the ring. He defeats Savio Vega in a brutal beatdown that ended in a homoerotic Vader bomb. Post-match, Vader drops a second Vader bomb on Savio, and Vader then starts it's complete chaos in the ring. He's attacking referees, fucking them up. Eventually, Guerrilla Monsoon, who is the interim president of the WWF, he gets into the ring. He admonishes Vader. He gets in his face and ends up suspending Vader for his actions. So they go back and forth, and Vader turns around and walks back over to, I believe, one of the referees in the corner to fuck him up. Monsoon grabs Vader by the shoulder, whips him around, and starts knife-edge chopping Vader.
Yep.
Yeah. So Vader at that point drops a homoerotic Vader bomb on Guerrilla Monsoon, and it's just utter fucking chaos in the ring. Bodies everywhere. And where there's homoeroticism, there's Shawn Michaels, who runs out to the ring with Razor Ramon. This is like the most... I get Razor was a name, but since we've been doing this, he's just been kind of like given like 50%. Like he shows up to the ring, there's not much passion. He hasn't been doing,
like a true mid-carder.
Yeah. Yep.
But
here he actually shows some human emotion. He checks on Guerrilla Monsoon, even though he was really thinking about vodka. And he was acting...
He thought he looked like a big bottle of vodka. Trying to figure out a way to crack him open.
He was asking him for the combination to his liquor cabinet before they hauled Monsoon off to the fucking hospital.
Hey, Chico, how do I get into your cabinet?
Get the good stuff.
So, and you can call me Ric Flair, ladies and gentlemen, because I am not above cheap shots. I'll send them all night. So after the commercial, Vader is backstage in an uncontrollable rage. Cornette's trying to calm him down. He's pissed off. He's suspended on his second night in the Fed. And he says he's declaring war on everyone in the WWF, all the wrestlers, the official, anyone. If you're affiliated, he's going after you. So we get our second match of the night, Hunter Hearst Helmsley with Shay Marks, who I don't know how long her tenure was in the WWF, but I know she's a former Playboy model. King's got a boner and is hitting on her during the match. But yeah, Hunter Hearst Helmsley actually defeats Razor Ramon. when 123 Kid, who interfered last night and cost Razor the championship, attempts to interfere, and Razor ends up chasing him around and gets counted out. So, yeah, we go into the final edition of Billionaire Ted, who says he buys all assets and repackages them. Movies, cartoons, even wrestling. But for once, he wants everyone in the room to put their heads together to come up with just one original idea. And Tommy, you know what happens?
The room filled with smoke.
Close. Close. Scheme Gene gets a hot idea, but he won't tell Ted. He tells Ted, you need to call my hotline to hear what it is.
That's dirty pool.
So, back out in the arena, Vince interviews Shawn Michaels in the ring. Vince congratulates HBK, and Shawn tells Vince, I told you so. He would come back. He wasn't out of the wrestling. He wasn't out of wrestling for good. He would come back. He would win the Rumble, and it's all part of his 3-step program. First step, the Rumble, done. Third step, WrestleMania, gonna happen. But between now and then, he has something to handle. See, when Shawn was put out a few weeks ago, he was wrestling Owen Hart and actually had the advantage on Owen, and then he just collapsed in the ring. But Owen's been going around claiming he put Shawn out of action. Jim Cornette comes out to massive boos and tells HBK, if you want Owen Hart, you need to speak to Jim Cornette. And frankly, Shawn has nothing that they want to warrant another match. Owen will forever be known as the guy who put Shawn Michaels out of action. So Shawn says he'll do anything for this match, and Jim Cornette's basically anything. He's like, you put your title shot at WrestleMania up against Owen, and you'll get your match. So Shawn says if the Clique wants it, referring to the fans who kind of made a mediocre reaction. I don't think they were too excited for this match. Shawn says if the Clique wants it, they got it. He'll put his title shot on the line and wrestle Owen Hart at the February in your house, and he throws Jim Cornette over the top rope. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Hart.
Stunning.
Yeah. So it's kind of sad too, like to see how much they were really behind Owen back then compared to where he's going to end up.
I think that they could have did a whole lot with Owen. I think they just squandered it with like poor direction. I think Owen was one of those wrestlers that he needed more direction than a lot of the other guys did, because he did not have the charisma that his brother had.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So he definitely needed a little bit more direction in order to really grow as a wrestler. And I don't think you really seen him hit those strides until the end of his career.
It's hard to argue with that. And, speaking of charisma, I'd even say he had more charisma than Chris Benoit. It's just Benoit looked more like serious, like Owen kind of had he just had a look to him where you didn't take him as serious.
You look at Benoit though, Tony, and really, tell me you don't see it. You had Mini Me in the Austin Powers movies. Like, he could have been the mini Terminator.
Yeah.
The robotic way he did everything. Just like deadpan stare.
Yeah.
Benoit or
Benoit.
Yes.
Yeah. He was real crisp in the ring, it was like by the book.
Yep.
Real clean style. So it's kind of funny because when I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'll get to that. So next up is the WWF champion Bret Hart versus the Intercontinental champion Goldust. And Bret gets Goldust in a sharpshooter. Goldust gives up right away in this non-title match. Smart move on Goldust. He didn't want to injure himself. He just got the IC title, so he just taps out. Like, I don't have shit to lose. And if I'm not mistaken, this is Goldust's first defeat in the WWF. So here's what I was getting at. When I hear Black Eyes and Vince McMahon and Brett, I get a very clear image of Vince walking around with a black eye for a few weeks. When Brett punched him after the Survivor Series in 1997. But in this instance, Vince is interviewing a black-eyed Bret Hart in the ring. He just went to hell and back with The Undertaker last night, and they don't know who really would have won that match because Diesel, after getting eliminated, he was pissed. He got eliminated from the Rumble by his best friend, Shawn Michaels. Went back into the ring. Everyone thought, after Shawn wins, because Diesel was the last man to get eliminated in the 96 Rumble. It went down to Diesel versus Shawn, and Shawn sweet chin musicked him right out of the ring. So Diesel gets back in the ring at the Rumble. Everyone's wondering if he's going to attack Michaels or what, and they end up high-fiving, and they're still buddies. But then later he went out and interfered in the match because he just lost the title to Bret Hart a couple months ago at the Survivor Series. So he interferes in the match, and Bret's pissed about that. So he says, we need to finish this once and for all. You and I, Diesel, in a cage match so I can put you in my rear view for good and start looking forward to WrestleMania. And even before that, Bret promises, Undertaker, you will get your rematch. So in a clean fight, no interference. So that's the end of Raw this week. Yeah, and I gotta say too, I'd rather watch Bret Hart versus Goldust than another Hogan match, Hogan versus One Man Gang. So maybe WWF really
bad.
does. Well, yeah, like who carries who to the good match in that one?
I think that was the biggest problem that WCW made when they started bringing over all that talent. They were relying on just those names to be able to just carry them forth without actually putting any effort in it, without bringing up new talent. Because I don't care what kind of old talent you bring in, if you don't fill that roster with some young up and comers that are hungry, that actually want to go out there and perform and wow the crowd, you're going to wind up lackluster because the older guys can't hold it all by themselves. You gotta have something exciting, something new, and something fresh.
That's the thing. They did have those, WCW did have that, but they just had everything backwards.
But
the main event's supposed to be.
Tony, they were all in the dark matches. They were all like lower card stuff.
Exactly, and that's the thing. The main event is supposed to be like the most exciting, like the culmination. This is what we've been waiting for, and WCW always had that completely reversed. Like the best part of the show came before the main event almost every fucking time, with the exceptions of a few really good main events like DDP versus Goldberg. But even then, the show ran long because of who? Hogan and everyone's pay-per-view cutoff. So even I'd say DDP versus Goldberg was easily one of their top 3 pay-per-view main events ever. And even that carries its own controversy. They had to show it the next night on Nitro and refund a whole lot of people. So, and because Hogan decided to run his bullshit of a match against the Ultimate Warrior, 10, 15, 20 minutes longer than it was supposed to be. Wow. It was a travesty, and I was there in person. I remember watching it. See, I was lucky. I didn't know the pay-per-view cutoff. I just saw this amazing main event with DDP and Goldberg, and I really thought DDP had Goldberg's number, and he should have.
Yeah.
But God, that Hogan match, it's like, what the fuck is going on here? They're throwing fire at each other, and so bad. Hogan really he might have brought he brought a mainstream spotlight to WCW, but he really poisoned that brand.
Yep. He did it with TNA too.
Yeah, no. Hogan's the one, well, let's go up against WWF, brother. like TNA is not in the same position as WCW was.
Nope.
Well, you know what? I think if they were managed a little bit more smartly, they possibly could have had a really good run at WWE, but those people had no clue what they're doing.
Mm-mm.
That's why they went through managerial staff so many damn times, because they had no clue what they were doing. They had all kinds of talent on there. I mean, look what some of that talent that wound up leaving TNA, and they went to what? They went to NXT, and then some of them made it onto the main roster on the WWE shows, whether it was Raw or SmackDown. They had plenty of talent there, but it was the same thing as always. They misused it, especially when they got people like Hogan and Bischoff in there.
Yep.
Did somebody say talent?
Hail Vinny, what's up, brother?
Hey guys. Yeah, I was just hanging with Drew a little bit. We got into a good conversation over there. It's a little hard to leave, but I am here for you.
Wrong, Vinny. You're wrong.
I've got to jump on Drew's show sometime. I want to conversate with him. It always seems like a pretty good conversation over there.
Oh
God, I'm so glad you finished that, Tony. I thought you said you just wanted to jump on Drew sometime. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh my.
You're taking this wrestling thing a little bit too far, brother.
Oh shit. Somebody say not far enough.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, Vinny, we just finished with the first week. Raw was the weekly winner with a 2.9 rating. Nitro 2.7 rating. They were both above what the winner was bringing in, a couple months ago. So the audience is really growing here.
Okay.
Nice. On Nitro, they were live from Las Vegas, from Caesar's Palace. Randy Savage defeated Ric Flair for the title. No lie. Okay, last week we were talking about Nitro and it ended with Hogan. I want the first title shot, brother. I want the first title shot. 3 different times during this Nitro, including when Randy Savage was walking down the fucking ramp to challenge Ric Flair for the title. Hogan comes out with a mic. Hey, brother, if you win this, I want the first title shot. Like, dude, we get it.
In case we
There's
forgot.
There's an opiate patch on the World Heavyweight Championship, and Hogan is jonesing.
Oh, yeah. I got that itch, brother.
I told you, brother, over and over again, brother. It's in the contract, brother.
So, all the opiates I want and creative control.
And the title shots. All the title shots.
Oh, yeah, Hogan, I know what you want. You don't want the title. You want to give it to Pope. Miss Elizabeth. Oh, yeah.
Listen, Ted's the billionaire. He sends Hanoi Jane over to Vietnam to pick the poppy plants. It's a well-oiled machine over there. So, we had another title match, the tag titles also. 2 title matches on Nitro, 2 title changes. Lex Luger and Sting defeated Harlem Heat for the tag team belts as well. So, and it was an eventful Nitro. Over on Raw, we were just coming off the heels of the 96 Royal Rumble. Shawn Michaels won. Bret Hart retained his title. Goldust defeated Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental Championship. And, we kind of dealt with the fallout of that. Hyped Shawn Michaels up a little. He's going to face Owen Hart at the next In Your House because Owen's been going around saying he's the one that put Shawn out of business a couple weeks ago on Raw when Shawn just collapsed. So, yeah, pretty good on both sides.
And there you go, Tony. That's probably another one of WCW's downfalls is when they were playing hot potato with the damn belts.
Yeah.
I understand that they were trying to make it exciting and they were trying to get people to tune in because it's must see to know what's going on, to see who got the belt. When the titles change, we got to watch it every week because that's what it seemed like was happening almost every damn week. The title was changing, and I mean, I know to an extent it's exciting to put that on regular TV every once in a while. But when they were doing it so damn often, it just became monotonous.
Yeah. There was no need for Flair's 12th title reign. They should have just capped it on Savage. Flair just defeated Savage for the title. What at the pay-per-view? Savage won it at World War III. Then Flair defeated him at Starrcade, and now it's January 22nd, and Savage is winning it back.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Dude, they changed it more than Goldust changes his underwear. I mean,
Yeah. Like, well, let's take this back. Hogan was champion when we started. Halloween Havoc in October, Giant just steals it from him.
Yeah.
Then it gets vacated. November, Savage wins it. December, Flair wins it. January, Savage wins it. So it's all over the place. Meanwhile, on WWF, Diesel was the champion. And he had been champion for over a year.
Right.
And then at the Survivor Series, he lost it to Bret Hart. That's it. So even the Intercontinental Championship has only changed. Razor Ramon has had it this whole time, and he finally dropped it to Goldust.
Right.
So, yeah, that was the first week in the Monday Night War, and then they definitely trade victories because the next week, January 29th, we pull up these ratings here. Raw garners a 2.4, down from a 2.9. Nitro garners a 2.8. They're up 1/10 of a rating point from their 2.7. So Nitro wins this next week here. And Nitro's live from Canton, Ohio, and begins with Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. I know Hogan's not in the main event. Crazy. So this week, Hogan brings the Ho train out. He's got Woman with him, possibly Deborah McMichael, some other blonde. But this week, he has Miss Elizabeth, who made her WCW debut last Tuesday, the day after this Nitro we just covered at Clash of Champions. And this match was funny. Ric Flair ends up defeating Hogan because Jimmy Hart and Arn Anderson grab Miss Elizabeth, take her stiletto off, or her little heel, and Ric Flair just starts fucking jamming Hogan with the tip of her heel. And that's all it takes he couldn't Hulk up or nothing. He had a fucking heel in his eye.
What you don't understand, brother, is the secret ingredient in the heel. It was cocaine, brother.
Or Narcan.
Cocaine!
He was trying to lick the sole of that shoe.
Yeah, I would have been. If I was Ric Flair, I would have been smelling it as soon as the commercial break hit. Went straight Quentin Tarantino.
He's putting it down his pants.
It's fucked up.
And then
His shoe's gonna ride Space Mountain.
Woo!
it kind of makes for a funny segment later on when Hogan reappears and he's all fucking bandaged up and shit, and he looks just ridiculous. So the Road Warriors make their Nitro debut.
Yeah.
They made their WCW debut at Clash of Champions, and they this is the first time I've seen Ming and the Barbarian together on Nitro. The first time I've seen them addressed as Faces of Fear. I'm pretty sure Barbarian just came over. I don't think they were a tag team before this. Maybe they're on WCW Saturday Night or something. But this is the first time I saw them on Nitro, and they did the job to the Road Warriors. Did you see this one, Draven?
Yeah, I watched the Road Warrior one.
Did you see Hawk fuck up the finish?
Yeah, I think the one where he like jumped off the thing and they both like basically it was like that's when Michaels was like it's like two rhinos hitting each other and they're not moving. That one, yeah,
it's where
wasn't Hawk like fucking out of his mind the entire time? Wasn't he like stoned?
Yeah, how he. You should have seen this, Vinny. So you know the Road Warriors finish. Hawk lifts the guy up on his shoulders, and then Animal jumps. Yeah, the Doomsday device.
Yep.
Yeah. Animal. He went to jump off the top rope, but it must have been slippery, and he just fucking. And they still pulled it off, but it just looked like shit. Like he just like fell forward, and like Hawk had to like make sure they contacted. Yeah.
Oh wow.
He fell. Nitro debut, and he fucked up the Doomsday device.
Jesus.
But
That was
yeah,
Animal that fucked it up, not Hawk.
yeah, it was Animal who fucked it up. Yeah.
He's like, I'm on so much coke shit. I don't know what the hell happened. How did you fuck it up?
Maybe Animal needed some coke. So Mean Gene is with the Taskmaster, and Kevin Sullivan says that the Dungeon of Doom and the Horsemen, they made a pact, and Arn Anderson gave his word, and he knows Anderson isn't one to go against his word. So as he's saying this, Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman are headed down to the ring. Kevin Sullivan tells Arn to either discipline Brian Pillman or deal with the consequences. Anderson wonders where Pillman was during Flair's match against Hogan, because it ended up Jimmy Hart and Arn Anderson helped him win, but he's like, you're a horseman now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not an individual. You're with the pack. Where were you during Flair's match? So Arn says all that's left for Pillman is tough love. And he starts taking his belt off to whip Pillman with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got, Kevin Sullivan is out there with Hugh Morris, Anderson has half of his belt taken off, and Hugh Morris and Kevin Sullivan just start attacking Arn Anderson from behind, kind of randomly. Mm-hmm. Like he said, you need to discipline Brian Pillman. Arn Anderson goes to discipline him, and they start beating his ass. Like, okay. So, yeah, Kevin Sullivan ended up taking Arn Anderson's belt, and he's outside of the ring whipping Pillman with it. But inside of the ring, Arn comes back. He DDTs Hugh Morris and then saves Brian Pillman from Kevin Sullivan. And Arn Anderson is red in the face. He says he knows people in the WCW border back there, and he demands a match against Kevin Sullivan and Hugh Morris. Pillman says that he's got, because Arn Anderson's talking about just put me in a match against those two. But Brian Pillman's like, I've got your back. I got us into this mess, and I'll get us out of this mess. So now, Dungeon of Doom, Horsemen, their little relationship is starting to go south. So a rare match is next with Medusa. Because we've talked about she kind of went over from the WWF through the championship in the trash can and didn't really do much after that. Mm-hmm. Her and Sister Sherry have a match, I guess, at Clash of Champions. Sister Sherry was going to marry Colonel, what's his name? Etep told me his name last time. Colonel whatever, some old guy. Mm-hmm. But Medusa starts fucking her up before her wedding. So now on Nitro, they're going to settle this. And Medusa beats the shit out of Sister Sherry and ends up winning by knockout. And after the match, the referees have to come into the ring and pull Medusa off of Sherry. I don't even know why they have beef. She just fucked up Sherry's wedding and then beat this woman to the point where the referee had to call the bell, she can't continue, and then continued to beat her until physically removed. Damn.
I think maybe she wanted a title shot with Hogan.
I guess so. It's what the fuck did Sherry do to you? She helped Booker recover when he dropped the N-word. She's cool.
Yep.
I don't get it, but Medusa's pissed off. She's probably overcompensating because she's realizing about now it was a mistake. Mm-hmm. But to go over to WCW and throw the belt in the trash, all that good stuff. So next up, it's main event time. WCW World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth, and she's looking beautiful. Beautiful woman. It's good to see her back. Macho Man with Miss Elizabeth versus the Giant. It never really gets started. Savage's music hits. Miss Elizabeth is walking down the ramp. Giant staring at her, and Macho Man runs in from behind and starts taking it to the Giant right away. he knows it's really his only chance against this monster, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
So he starts beating the Giant's ass. The referee calls for the bell, not even to start the match, but to disqualify Savage. While that's going on, Flair shows up, and Flair and the Giant, I mean, are beating the shit out of Randy Savage. And they're like, I forgot about the shoe thing earlier with Miss Elizabeth's heel and Hogan.
Mhm.
Like, where the hell is Hogan? You know, I mean, they were beating Savage down for like 5 minutes, fucking choke slamming him, just beating the shit out of him. Here comes Hogan all bandaged up. He's got like this gauze wrapped around his bald head and a big like cotton ball in his eye. Playing hurt, you know, from it's like out of everything, Miss Elizabeth's high heel is what takes you out. Like, he's acting all fucked up from the high heel, but he runs out, kind of chases the heels out of the ring, which that doesn't even make sense, because it's like Hogan's injured, Savage is basically laid out at this point, but then he chases the Giant, who it's kind of been established he can barely take on his own, and Ric Flair out of the fucking ring with not much resistance.
Mhm.
And it's just interesting. It didn't concern his title shot, so he took his sweet time getting out there to save his quote unquote friend. Then they kind of announced Super Brawl will be Ric Flair challenging Savage for the title in a cage match, and Hogan is going to face the Giant in a cage match. And that's the end of Nitro, which I gotta say that I enjoyed the first Nitro a lot better. It's nuts that this is the weekly winner. Like, they garnered a higher rating because this is the Nitro on the 29th, the Nitro on the 22nd. I mean, that really that was an exciting show. So over on Raw for the 29th, they're in Stockton, California. Again, they pulled a 2.4 rating, weekly loser. And the show starts with Diesel versus British Bulldog. Fairly decent match for Raw. At the end, Diesel attempts to pin British Bulldog, but Yokozuna runs in and tries to do a leg drop while Diesel's pinning Bulldog. Diesel rolls out of the way and Yoko lands on Bulldog, and then Diesel clears him out of the ring and makes the pinfall. Backstage, Bret Hart cuts a promo on Diesel, hyping their cage match at February's In Your House. Bret says again, you know, can't wait for Diesel to be his past, and Bret also mentions he has never lost a cage match. They also, we go to Todd Pettingill, who hypes up the pay-per-view. We'll also have Shawn Michaels versus Owen Hart. Razor Ramon will face 1-2-3 Kid in a crybaby match where the loser will be fed a baby bottle.
And given a diaper, too.
Yeah, and a diaper. It's Pat Patterson's baby bottle, by the way. So, what was supposed to be the last Billionaire Ted segment last week, this week, Billionaire Ted holds a press conference with Nacho Man and the Huckster to inform the world he's not a hillbilly who wears cheap suits. And then members of the press start asking him, Draven and I were talking about this, members of the press are asking him, is it true that you undercut WWF's ad buy rate so you can put them out of business? And they're just like asking questions like that for like 5 minutes. It's so over the top. Oh, and they Doc Hendricks was talking right before this, by the way. He said someone over at Ted Turner Enterprises called them the week after the Billionaire Ted skits and was laughing and said, we really like those. But they show the cease and desist letter WCW sent them on TV. And they're like, but that same person then sent us this cease and desist letter about a week later. But you know what? We're the WWF and we're here to fight for you fans. And they're really trying to, like in these skits, they're like, well, is it true you don't care about the fans? You just want to put WWF out of business? They're really trying to get the fans behind them and get some momentum. So Doc Hendricks shows the fucking cease and desist letter on WWF television, like ballsy. And was like, we're fighting for our freedom of speech so we can entertain you fans. And yeah, it's getting
a little heated.
Yeah. So, and speaking of heated, so the Godwins then face the Body Donnas. And when the Godwins come out, Jerry Lawler mentions this is the last thing WWF needs, more hillbillies in cheap suits. So the Goldwins defeat the Body Donnas, and it's announced next week on Raw that Undertaker will get his rematch for the WWF Championship against Bret Hart. Now, here comes the part I know Vinny's going to like.
Uh-oh.
Last week, Vader went on a rampage. Big Van Vader, he debuted at the 1996 Royal Rumble. Was really causing havoc in the ring, but ended up getting eliminated. And then the next night on Raw, he beat the hell out of Savio Vega. After he pinned Savio, he kept beating his ass, then started beating on the referees. Then Guerrilla Monsoon got in the ring, and he ended up getting put out of action by Vader. So Guerrilla Monsoon, the interim WWF president, he's going to be gone for a while. And talk about grifting. They have a P.O. box to Stamford, Connecticut, where you can send your get well wishes to Guerrilla Monsoon. Like, holy shit, guys.
Yeah.
But now they need a new WWF president. So Vince gets in the ring, and he announces the acting WWF president, Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I was gonna like that. First, I liked Vader because Vader was awesome. Too bad Vince was such a dick to him.
Yeah, because he's debuting now. By January 1998, he's basically on lower card jobber status.
Yeah. Did he go back to Japan right after that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I first heard of Vader because I didn't watch much WCW back in the day. He was on Boy Meets World.
Yep.
Played like Sean's dad or something, right? Yeah.
Which is funny because that guy is now in great shape. The fat one from Boy Meets World. Was he
is he?
He was on. If I'm thinking the same one, the right guy. My Name is Earl. He was his brother, the dopey guy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like in fantastic shape now.
Yeah, good for him.
Right. But yeah, I know that because they were trying to say that it was his father or some shit.
Yeah.
And people thought it was really his dad in real life.
That's awesome. So, and now this time, I think Vince was probably like, what the fuck, dude? Because he was trying to pretend like he wasn't the owner of WWF back then. He was trying to act like he's just a commentator. Titan Sports owns it, whatever, you know? So Piper comes out and he just looks at Vince. Does this mean I'm your boss now? And Vince is like, oh, well, you know, I'm just a commentator. So he says, Roddy.
Shut the hell up, Piper.
Yeah. Vince calls him Roddy, and Roddy's like, no, you call me Mr. President. Says he's the guy that knocked out Mr. T. He punched Cyndi Lauper. It's fucking Rowdy Roddy Piper. Brings up some nostalgia. Says the fans are in good hands with Roddy Pipers, but the superstars, they have to pay the Piper.
Hell yeah.
And then he like helicopter spins Vince McMahon. He doesn't hurt him, but he just has some fun with them, establishes dominance. Yeah, it was a good segment. It was good to see Roddy Piper back. So, and I think he's going to be in WCW in like the next year and a half. So,
right.
That's just sad.
It pisses me off because he beat Hogan for the world title, and it's like he finally gets a world title run, and it lasted a couple days before Hogan takes it back. Like, come on, guys.
Of course, brother, it's in the contract.
And then, like, he hit the ball, says, "Hey, yeah, see, we should have been doing this from the start." Please, Hogan, you're such a dick and a liar. You know, like it's all Roddy's fault. Why they didn't give it to him when he was in WWE?
Well, I mean, it's just like the run in WWE or WWF at the time when they should have had the first meeting between him and Flair. Hogan was the one that put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
And then he's such a fucking liar. Then he goes on these fucking interviews nowadays like, I don't know why Roddy had a problem with me, but I'm like, brother, we could have made some money. It's like, because you're a fucking dickhead.
Yep. A dickhead who loves to just twist the facts and twist the history of everything to make himself look like even a bigger winner than what he was. Asshole.
Yep. That's
stopping so many people's careers.
That's why I don't like Triple H. He's the same fucking thing, except he actually has power.
He gives power, or he gives it to her every night, right? What do they got? Like 3 or 4 kids?
Yeah,
3, I think.
Stephanie's wearing the strap on in that relationship. Hey, what's going on, Keely?
The epitome.
What's up, Keely?
The epitome of Triple H-ness is when him and number one, it's when him and Undertaker had their last match at WrestleMania when Taker was still undefeated, but because he faced Triple H, he had to leave on a stretcher, which even Vince McMahon didn't like. I got a private shot. BRB Draven.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Epitome Triple H-ness is when they're hyping up the match for WrestleMania, and Triple H comes out on Raw, gets in Taker's face, and points to the locker room and says, "We're the last of the Outlaws. We're the last of a special breed." Like, great job promoting your fucking wrestlers, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a promoter spot now, and you're putting down the whole fucking locker room. You want the audience to think these are the new Outlaws, you know?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, that's what it is. They sit there with so much power. They've been at the top for so long. They don't want to build up anybody else. Yeah. It was a miracle that he actually he gave the Giant a chance and pulled him in, but it's only because he wanted to relive his Andre the Giant days, but with someone who could actually wrestle and move, and that was and who wasn't in tremendous pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, it was all selfish reasons.
Yep.
I mean, I will say this when they talk about the people in the locker room being soft. I mean, I've heard all the stories about how so many of the people in the locker rooms became whiny over the years. I mean, you take even somebody like CM Punk, huge whiner about everything that goes on in the locker rooms and what goes on in the ring. And I mean, and not to defend Triple H for being a douche stick, which he is, but to a small degree, I think he did have a point when he was saying that because of how soft everybody is in that locker room and how they want to be protected and coddled. To a degree, I think he was right. To a degree.
Yeah. There's I would say he did good and bad, but mostly he did shit for himself.
Well, I mean, there was the problem, though. I mean, he knew that there was a problem in the locker room with a lot of these people's morale and the way they were doing things. And instead of trying to inspire them, Tony, I mean, you're right in that aspect. He went out and he tore him down. And there was a way to do it to probably incite those people to want to do better, but he chose a different path because it was all about his ego like it's always ever been.
Yeah. And on the other hand, they were specifically signing and pushing subservient personality types. Like, if you want an outlaw, you need to deal with the drama that comes with it. Yeah. They were specifically, like, John Cena is a good example. He was a company man. He would do anything the WWF asked him to do. They were specifically looking for that in their also trying not to push these wrestlers to get them too over. Like, look at Zack Ryder. He was punished for getting over. They tried to punish Daniel Bryan for getting over on his own. They want the brand to be over. So if an AEW comes along and John Moxley wants, or Dean Ambrose or wants to leave WWF for AEW, that they weren't that over anyway. It's WWF that's over.
Yeah.
And that plays into Stephanie McMahon getting off on herself, going out there and fucking cutting the balls off everyone.
She's such a piece of shit. It would have been so much better if Shane had taken over, but he had his own business he was running.
Yeah, well, he left because
CM Punk speaking of like Stephanie McMahon, he had a promo against MJF and basically told him that MJF is shit, and basically was like,
"You're not as over, Miz."
Yeah, you're just an not as popular Miz. And then he said, maybe if you wait a little bit for Tony to have a daughter, you can marry her.
That's funny. So wait, you were saying about Shane, why he left?
Shane, he was supposed to take over the company at one point, but Triple H and Stephanie kind of politicked it away from him, and he's not strong enough to fight that battle.
Wow.
He's actually
Vince,
Shane has a soul.
If anybody should take over the businesses, should be Stephanie and I.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh shit. Yeah, I mean, what a shame, because like you could tell Shane really fucking loved the business, and just what he did, those crazy stunts and shit, jumping off those every high spot that he did, that he's like literally, what was the last one that he did? He almost fucking died.
He did that one with the Undertaker off the Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
Oh, was it that one? Okay. Yeah. I was at the one in Unforgiven at Hershey, where he jumped off onto Kane from the rafters, or the thing. That was awesome.
What a psycho. But again, because he knew what they were going through, he knew the pain, he knew all that shit. He respected them, they respected him, and who takes it? That whore.
And and that's the thing. Okay, Shane's willing to go through all that for his company. Vince is willing to look like an idiot and get his face rubbed in Rikishi's ass or anything.
He likes that. That's one of his fetishes.
And get his head shaved and everything else.
God damn it! I said really press my face in there.
I didn't taste enough shit.
Yeah.
But Stephanie, she's not gonna look like a fool.
That's right. She's not going to motorboat Rikishi's ass like Vince did.
Look at what they did to Dusty Rhodes.
Oh God.
And Dusty Rhodes is like, I'm not playing your fucking game, and I'm not going off a script. Like, she tried to disrespect him, and his face or his hand went right in her face. Like, bitch, shut up. You're not even a part of this.
I ain't going to do that, baby.
Yeah, she goes out there every now and then and LARPs on an industry where people need this. People can't afford to go out there and get their balls cut off. They've dedicated their entire lives and spend time away from their families, most of their time away from their families, and pay for their own hotel rooms and work their ass off, and they're sore and work through the injury, all to go out there and have this rich bitch who's never faced adversity in her life cut their balls off to make herself feel tingly inside. Fuck you.
I'll tell you what, the best Stephanie is actually still yet to come as far as these episodes are going, and that was when the Undertaker crucified her ass with the Ministry of Darkness.
Nice.
Back when she was still perceived as innocent.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really think she's cutting their balls out, because she sounds like her balls have dropped since then. Her voice has gotten so deep since back then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, she's probably taking all those testosterone shots. That way, she could really give it to Triple H in bed.
I think she's packing now. That's what I think's going on.
I remember China when Triple H and China were together before he was the leader of everything. They were on the Howard Stern show. In fact, just China was on the Howard Stern show. Right up his alley back in the day, you know. Howard loved to interview people like China. She said Triple H fancies anal.
See, told you.
Receiving or giving?
Like Stanley said, enough said.
So, back to the show. Yeah, so this is awesome. I loved this. I told you 1996 was going to be good. Things are going to pick up. So, Roddy Piper's done helicoptering Vince McMahon around. And then we go to a hype segment. Mankind is going to be debuting soon. I'm excited for that. And him and Undertaker are going to have their match, their feud. And Paul Bear is going to turn on Taker. And yeah, we're really getting into what'll be some good stuff. We just got to get past this SummerSlam. Shawn Michaels versus Vader, 1996 SummerSlam. After that, things are going to pick up, I promise.
I'll tell you what, though, Sonny. I mean, when he did the Mankind gimmick at first, I was not on board with it. I liked him. I liked him when he was in WCW, when he was still Cactus Jack. You know, obviously when he went over to ECW. When he first debuted as Mankind, I was not feeling it. I don't know what it was about it, but it did not resonate with me at first.
Well,
It wasn't until that Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah,
That I was like, okay, yeah, I can kind of start. I was getting on board with the character then.
Same here. I thought the look that they had for him was horrible, and it made him look extra dumpy. What did they want to call him originally? They wanted to call him something the Mutilator. Yeah,
Mace the Mutilator.
Yeah, Mace the Mutilator. Yeah.
Which when he debuted, I'm like, why doesn't he just do Cactus Jack? Like that's all I was saying in my head.
Reminded me of Leatherface, that whole gimmick.
Yeah, like it over time, like again, it grew on all of us, I think, and it was the big match that did it.
I like Dude Love okay too, you know. I like Dude Love okay. I wish we could have seen a little more Dude.
The comedy aspect of that was hilarious, especially when he was teaming up with people like Austin.
Yeah.
Well, at that point too, we know how fucked up he was starting to get anyway. His book already came out. Like, yeah, just give him comedy bits. Let him have a break.
On that segment he did where they sat down and they talked to the three faces of Foley. Yes. Oh, that was absolutely hilarious.
That was good.
1999 was like Foley's year. That dude was on fucking fire on those promos. And the highest rating Raw has ever got was "This is your birthday, Rock. Like, this is your life." And that was all Foley improvising, and Rock was just standing there reacting, all to get to the end of this 20-minute promo so he can tell Foley, "It's not my birthday, you dumb son of a bitch."
I remember that.
Foley was on fucking fire. He got a sock over.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
So we get our first glimpse at Mankind. A nice little segment, which is nice because we didn't get any Steve Austin these 2 weeks. Next up is the main event for Raw. Shawn Michaels versus Yokozuna. Of course, Shawn Michaels defeated Yokozuna with Sweet Chin Music, and then Bulldog, Owen, and Yoko attempt to beat up HBK, but Diesel runs down to make the save, and Cornette challenges Diesel and Shawn to a tag match next week between Owen and Yokozuna, which is kind of weird because it's like...
Because Owen and Yokozuna were going to go at it because Owen's the reason he lost the match.
Owen tried to interfere and it backfired. But I get that Bret Hart's facing Undertaker next week on Raw, but it's like they're not even like beginning to hype Diesel versus Bret yet. And that's supposed to be like this extra volatile storyline.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, that's the end of wrestling this week.
Yeah, it feels like they did that all the time in WWF, FEUG, whatever the fuck they stupid thing they changed it to. Where they would go like, oh yeah, there's this big feud, and then all of a sudden, but guess what? Out of nowhere, here's somebody else who's gonna go for a title shot or have this big match.
Mhm.
And then it's like if it got enough hype and steam, then they would like ignore the other storyline.
Yeah.
They did that a lot. Like, okay, we're just gonna pivot in the middle of that.
Oh.
Weird.
So, what we're going to do now, because we're done a little early, I want to go through this article here. It's 10 wrestlers you didn't realize wrestled for WWE in 1996, which I'm pretty sure no one wrestled for WWE in 1996 because it wasn't WWE.
It was the WWF.
That's right.
If it's, dude, that made me so mad.
They
'cause
didn't
I
get
was,
the F out.
yeah, I
Gimmick.
worked for PowerWrestling.com back then, and I was really following that story. The World Wildlife Foundation suing WWF, and I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, and then they fucking lost that case.
Yep.
They've had the
You know-
trademark longer. They've had there's no reason they should have lost that fucking case.
Well, not only that, but and it's just like a lot of the other like cancel culture type of freaking shit that we're seeing now is they wanted to erase it from history. They didn't want any more mention of it, you know.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm like even on a lot of the WWE programming, they didn't like to say WWF. They would like freaking censor it a bit, or it's so stupid.
WWF sounds badass. WWE sounds stupid. That sounded so weird the first few weeks. Holy shit.
WE.
And then people keep calling it the WWE. Like, no. You can say the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, but the World Wrestling Entertainment doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
It's just bad all around. So
The Japanese buzzsaw.
What year was it that they lost?
2002,
Okay.
2001.
I remember I had stopped watching for a while because, like, again, some of the work I was doing, I was traveling all the time, so I was always missing it. When I started watching, I'm like, what happened?
2002.
It was F. Why is there an E now? I didn't know what was going on.
Fuck the world.
Oh, yeah.
Wildlife
And
Fund.
that big long monologue that Vince gave it because we've always been entertainment. Oh, fuck out of here with that shit. Here's a funny about Japanese buzzsaw. I actually seen him one day. I was living with the wife and her family over in Bristol, Pennsylvania. We went to a freaking Walmart of all places, and he was walking around. He had a guy with him, like I guess it was like somebody that just in case there was problems. But he was walking around in a freaking Walmart, and I remember pointing it out to my wife, the Japanese buzzsaw.
Oh shit!
Nice.
And yeah, Tajiri. And she's like, I said, it's him. And she's what? I said, the Japanese buzzsaw, from ECW. And she was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I said, yeah, it is. I said, look at him. She's like, holy crap, it is him. Why don't you go say hi or something? I said, dude's in here shopping. I'm not going to bother him. He probably just wants to go about his day like anybody else. But yeah, I was actually just shocked to see him in a freaking Walmart. I was like, God, he must not be getting paid very well.
Yeah. I met a celebrity as well, but it was in a Target. And I was checking out this chick over by the freezer section, and then I just saw a cart pulling up, right? And then I went, "Oh my God, that's Gilbert Godfrey!" And he was checking out the same chick I was. He turned and looked at me. I looked at him. We just gave each other a head nod.
That's awesome.
So I've got a bit of a similar story. When I was like 1994, 1995. I was at an Albertsons with my mom, just grocery store out here in Vegas, and Pat Morita was walking around doing some grocery shopping. I'm like,
nice.
holy shit, it's Mr. Miyagi. Like, yeah, so I went up, said hi to him. I lost it, but I got his autograph, and my mom digging through her purse for a pin, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Short, but fucking cool as fuck.
He was
Cool.
funny as hell too, man.
Yeah.
Great.
My
guy.
do you guys remember it's where Butterbean got famous. Do you guys remember the Tough Man competitions?
Yep.
Yeah.
My my dad was a boxer back in the day for Golden Gloves, whatever, but what's the guy's name? I don't think it's Art Bell. It's Art something, the owner of Tough Man. My dad was friends with him. So we would go to those sometimes. And I didn't really, like, I've met Butterbean, but I didn't know him that well. But Mr. T, he used to fight for Tough Man. And he would show up and, like, ring announce sometimes. And he'd get on the mic and, like, commentate. Number one, Mr. T is funny as shit. Like, he could have been a comedian.
Oh, nice.
But he would like, what's up, Tony? You know, when he'd be at the shows and he'd fucking talk to me and hang out with me, and cool as fuck, man.
That is awesome.
Tony, well, technically he did do some comedic stuff, and I always point back to that one movie, DC Cab. He was pretty hilarious in that one.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. If you've never seen DC Cab, you got to watch it at least once. It's got the Barbarian brothers in it. It's got the bald one, Adam Baldwin, not related to Alec, but Adam Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
He's in it.
I need to watch that.
Gary Busey's in it. Bill Maher, before he turned into an asshat, was in it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I need to check DC Cab.
Yes.
I need to watch that. I don't think I've even heard of that.
Me neither.
Mm-mm.
So, 10 wrestlers you didn't realize wrestled for WWE in 1996. Oh, before we get into that, around the same time they started calling it WWE, by the way, do you guys remember, like, they had Shawn Michaels become NWO, and they were doing all kinds of weird shit, and then one week you tuned in, and they just completely rebooted all the storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when have you ever, like... That's something that I should look up some videos on YouTube for that, because that doesn't get talked about much. Like, they had dug themselves so deep, they said, screw it, let's start over. Clear the slate. Anything going on is no longer going on.
Yeah, man. But I remember they did it a couple of times. It wasn't just once. Well, maybe this time it was a full clean sweep of the stories, but they've done it a few times. I'm going, what the fuck happened to this feud?
Well,
what was going on over there?
They started doing it every year at one point when they started doing the draft. That was one of the reasons they were doing it. Is they wanted to just like act certain storylines, and the best way to do it is to make sure that those two people are not on the same roster anymore.
Right.
Like, what the fuck happened to this? Like,
I think I remember that.
They were just like, you know what? Never mind. What's up?
Because they brought him back or whatever. But it wasn't it to fight the DX. I thought it was to fight DX, though, when they did that.
I can't remember who. I know that Shawn was saying something to Vince or something. I remember him kind of cutting a promo.
What year was that?
This was like, I think it was around the same time they changed from WWF to 2002. So it was like right after they changed from WWF to WWE. They just fucking rebooted everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So 10 wrestlers you didn't realize wrestled for WWE in 1996. 96 was the year of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rocky Maivia, and Scott D'Amore. It was a landmark year in professional wrestling. Vince McMahon's luxury boat began to crumble under a black and white onslaught as the New World Order took WCW to the top of the pro wrestling world. Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall turned the industry on its head, and Vince McMahon could only respond with passive-aggressive skits and Ahmed Johnson. That cuts deep. 1996 also saw the Ringmaster become Stone Cold, the arrival of Rocky Maivia, Bret Hart's descent into the dark side, and plenty more. WWE TV largely twiddled its thumbs throughout the year, introducing new performers and throwing enough cack at the wall. What's cack?
I don't know.
Thrown enough Patterson cack at the wall to redden the cheeks of even the most hearted fecal philiacs. Oh, like caca. Okay, I got you. See, I think WWF is doing better in '96. Like '95 was a rough year to watch.
Yeah, that
all
was
this
tough.
King Mabel shit. Like,
Yeah,
so
dung or muck. It's cat.
cack.
Yeah.
Where is that slang? I've never heard shit called cat.
Apparently, it's in Merriam-Webster.
Well, Miriam is a filthy whore.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're communists anyway.
This is the
So-
first time I've heard it.
Some of it stuck. The aforementioned Stone Cold and Maivia. I hate it when they refer to Rock as Maivia.
Yeah.
The two most obvious examples, and Rock wasn't even over in '96. Like, that was the die Rocky die shit.
Yep. I really thought that I was going to hear a story of him on the news. Wrestler commit suicide because fans torment him. Like they were fucking brutal on his ass.
Yeah.
So, Tony, you never heard that old saying?
What?
My brother used to say it all the time. If you can't take the flack, you got to suck the cack.
Mm.
He's a different
See,
cat.
that's what I think of. I think of someone from the Northeast saying cock when I hear cack.
Yeah, suck the cack. If you can't take the flack, you gotta suck the cack.
It's a piece of cack.
So chances came around again, though. In '96, jobbers eventually found their way into the world of pro wrestling. Lost in the annals of WWE programming in '96, we find future Hall of Famers, champions, bookers, legends, and whatever we're supposed to remember Braden Walker as. So we had D'Lo Brown. I really liked D'Lo. Like, he was perfect in the Nation.
Yeah,
And
he was
when he
good.
had that chest plate and would fucking frog splash people, him and Mark
yeah.
Henry made a good team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why did they just got rid of him? What happened?
I think he's an agent backstage now, but yeah, they cut him and he wasn't there for a few years. And definitely was never really on TV again. He was in TNA for a bit. I remember that.
Did he leave because of what he did to that other dude? He put him
To
in the
Dross.
wheelchair.
That did screw him up badly.
Yeah.
Maybe that would explain it. Because
Yeah.
you could tell he is a good guy, and even when he was wrestling, you could see that he took care of those fucking guys.
Well,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I think there was an interview where they were talking to him about it, and he was just about like breaking into tears
Still
over it,
choking
thinking
up.
about it.
Wow.
Yeah, like, he's a good guy, and a good wrestler, they don't want their partner hurt on their watch. They want to keep you safe. That's like goes back to what we are talking about with Owen Hart a couple weeks ago. And just maybe he deals with guilt differently, but he didn't seem very sympathetic to what he did to Steve Austin.
Right.
So WWF cuts D'Lo Brown. What happened?
But it was just a freak accident that what he did, right? With Draws, from what I remember.
Yeah. And Draws was kind of new.
Mhm.
Like, he was just coming over from football.
Right.
So he was still kind of green, but they just landed wrong. He went to like jump off the top rope, powerbomb or something, right?
Mhm.
And they just landed wrong.
Did you ever see the video of when he first met him? And he's like, "Well, what can you do, kid? What can you do?" And he's like, "Well, I could puke on command. Well, I want to see him puke. Oh my God, he's gonna puke. He's gonna puke
From beyond the mat.
Right. Jeez, man,
He's
McMahon's
gonna
just fucking
puke.
nasty.
Draws.
Oh, he's regained most of the use in his upper body and arms. Good for
Awesome.
him.
Oh,
Well,
sweet.
I remember they were talking. He said he's never going to stop fighting until he's able to stand on his own power again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I remember he had to use like that straw thing, or whatever. Like he was completely all limbs were non-functioning. That's great to hear, though, man.
I
Wow.
wonder if he got his booster.
Shit, I hope not. He'll be walking in heaven.
See, he says, as a performer after the Draws incident, he was never the same. There was a time after that I quit wrestling. There's no hatred from Draws towards me. We both understand the risks we take when we go in the ring, and it's dangerous in there. Just because it's predetermined, that's why they have the PSA for kids, don't try this at home. But as far as Draws and I are concerned, we're boys, we're good. We've talked throughout the years. He has a place in my heart. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him. There's no blame on either side from either person.
Wow.
So good for them, you know.
Hell yeah.
So
I mean, that's the whole thing about those moves too. I mean, yeah, you know, the guy delivering the move needs to be careful, but also the guy that's receiving that move, they got to know how to do everything. I mean, there's certain precautions they have to protect themselves. So, I mean, it could easily go wrong from either end.
Who's Techno Team 2000?
No idea.
Like, they're like 10 wrestlers you didn't know wrestled 96. It's like, I don't know them anyway.
Right?
Never heard of them.
Nope. They don't look familiar at all.
They don't look familiar to me either.
Like, no one went on to be anyone or anything. What the fuck? So, yeah, Techno Team 2000, that wasn't worth it.
You find an article, 2 gay wrestlers who were partners found in a dumpster. Pat
Who the hell are all
DNA
these people?
found all over the crime scene.
Who's that? Which one is the next one?
Chris Harris.
Chris Harris.
They're like, well, here's a match back when Bradshaw wasn't shit versus this guy. That's how you'd know him. Like, this isn't a very good list. Like 20% of the people I haven't heard of. But speaking of the buzzsaw, Tajiri, he was in WWF in 1996. He was featured on an episode of Monday Night Raw, getting squashed by the Godwins as Henry O and Phineas. See, this is going to be soon because Hillbilly Jim chases Sonny away. They were just the Godwins and the Body Donnas were just getting into it this past week, and they were fucking with Sonny.
Yeah,
so we should actually see Tajiri soon.
Hillbilly Jim was wrestling?
He was the manager for the Godwins.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. All right, yeah.
Yeah, that was still during the time of the gimmicks. I mean, like, what was it, Duke the Dumpster Drosy and all those other people that they brought in. Oh, God.
He's going to be facing Triple H at this next pay-per-view. Duke the Dumpster.
Nice.
Yeah. So good times. We had Tajiri, Scott D'Amore. So this is someone, again, against Bradshaw. Like, what the fuck? I know this name, but I don't know if I really know him. He's under the radar, one of the most influential men in professional wrestling, a longtime mainstay of TNA. He's a trainer like Gail Kim, Alex Shelley, Eric Young, Bobby Roode, Rhino.
Chip Birdie.
I guess he's the co-executive vice president of Impact today. Okay, or whenever this was written. I mean, if it was 6 months ago, I'm sure their entire executive branch has changed.
Last year, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, the fucking
Smashing Pumpkins guy, is he still involved in
he washed his hands of it. He's like, fuck y'all, I tried.
They've gotten rid of 80 people so far this year in WWE.
Wow.
Yeah, that new guy they hired was Scott Kahn or whatever. He's got the same last name as Tony Khan. Whoever, yeah, he's been cutting people left and right. And Ric Flair said he won't go back and work for WWE under that guy. He's like, Vince and I are cool. We talk on the phone every day, but not every day, but we talk on the phone. But Vince knows I'm not going back there as long as that Khan motherfucker's in charge of talent. So Jim Neidhart, I'm pretty sure I knew he was around in '96. Maybe they just weren't really. When did the Hart Foundation?
Didn't they have a mask?
Maybe. The Anvil had a long storied career in WWE. By the middle of the 90s, his careers were moving in a very different direction than Bret Hart. You won't see Neidhart in any WWE cards from '96, but the big man was indeed present for a short amount of time in the middle of the year.
Yeah, masked heel.
That's who he was, the masked heel.
Wow.
Yeah, he died early.
Yeah, but I can't believe they just wasted him too. Because he had a great look. He had a presence about him. Like, I love the Hart Foundation, but like I understood because Brett was getting over so well that they had to give him a belt. They had to do something. But how could you just kind of throw away Anvil like that?
I know. Brett's the only member still alive from the Hart Foundation. It's kind of sad.
Right. Damn.
So Joey Abs. Oh, he was in the Mean Street Posse. Okay, I'm like, I know Joey Abs. I miss those days. Shane and his Mean Street Posse.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking good times.
Yeah.
They're like
Stop lying. You really like the Spirit Squad.
I was going to say, they're like the Spirit Squad 1.0.
I don't even think I was watching when the Spirit Squad
Joey!
was a thing.
Yeah.
These are on what again? Paramount? Is that what you said?
What's that?
You've been watching these on Paramount? Is that what you said? The Raws and...
Oh, Peacock.
Oh,
Peacock, yep.
So Scotty Too Hottie.
Yeah, I wasn't watching when Spirit Squad was a thing.
I
was
didn't
in
watch
06.
much. Yeah. Because it was boring. It was
right after the
Triple H.
invasion, not too long after that, and I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah. It's like, well, Triple H and Batista. It's like, that's not as appealing as you think it is, Vince.
I don't know, Keely. I think the Nexus would have they would have got their asses kicked if they were in the Attitude Era.
Ziggler was part of that, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nikki!
I think I missed like all of the Batista stuff. I think I saw him maybe one match. So I wasn't really that familiar with him.
I even thought Batista was boring. It's like, fuck. And him and Triple H had this long ass feud. Like, who cares?
I liked when he was part of what was it, Evolution with Flair and Triple H and
Orton.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was like the background muscle, you know, and like I don't know. The one time I really started to get into Batista was when he became that real bitchy heel, but he was leaving anyway. And he was like in the wheelchair and was like, I quit because he was leaving WWF anyway. So that's how they wrote him out. That's when I first started like really getting into Batista. Like, okay, I like this guy, but he was leaving anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like his attitude.
They gave him a belt at one point? He did get a belt at one point?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He beat Triple H at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay.
Yeah. He put John Cena on the shelf for a long time, too.
Yep.
Oh, no shit.
Yep.
Yeah, he did a power bomb off the top rope, and he was very, very, very sloppy about it. And he fucked John Cena's shoulder up for a long time.
Shit.
So, with Mankind debuting soon, it looks like he's going to be beating the hell out of Scotty Too Hottie. So, we should be seeing that here in a couple weeks to months. You got to give it to the kid. He got over better than Jerry Lawler's kid ever did. Brian Christopher, like the Worm.
Yeah. Well, he was doing talent. Was it Scotty Too Hottie doing talent for NXT?
Was he?
It's either. I think it's him. Yeah, he just recently left because I guess they started that new NXT 2.0 or some shit, and like they changed up the whole entire thing. And I guess he had like creative differences, so he He said he was leaving the company. Basically, he cut himself out of the company.
Damn. So Edge was wrestling in the WWF in 1996 under the name Sexton Hardcastle. He was a young pup in 96. And he got squashed against Bob Holly, apparently. Imagine, yeah, that's pretty low on the card when you're having to do the job for Bob Holly.
Who was this one?
Edge.
Oh, Edge. Shit.
Yeah.
Sexton.
Sexton Hardcastle.
Man, Pat
wow.
must have had a lot of fun with him.
Yeah, Kelly. Batista came back in 2014. I think that was to promote Guardians, wasn't it?
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah. Yep. And they completely is that when he came back and Daniel Bryan, I guess, was on fire and Vince and was like, well, the fans want Batista. And they had him win the Rumble and fans went ape shit. Yeah. So I remember he ended up like Batista kind of had beef with the WWF after that because he wanted to come back as a heel. He's like, that's one thing about Batista. As much as a douche he is on Twitter, he has a good mind for the business. He understands certain things, and he tried to get that across. Like when they made No Blood and when they went PG, he was completely against that. And when he came back, and Daniel Bryan was like the hottest fucking thing in the world, and Vince is like, well, we're going to have you win the Rumble. And he's like, we're going to have you be a babyface. The fans will love it. And Batista's like, that dude over there is the one that's over. Like, they're going to hate that. You should bring me in as a heel. No, the fans want to cheer for Batista. And they fucking booed Batista. And he was pissed because of that. He's like, I fucking told you guys they want Daniel Bryan. They just like completely misused Batista and ended up getting Evolution back together and brought Seth Rollins in, and like it was such a clusterfuck. It's like
that's a guy who I'm surprised has a fucking career.
Yeah, it's like the douches gravitate towards each other. Like Seth Rollins a douche, bring him into Triple H's faction.
He injures everybody freaking left and right. I'm glad that fan attacked the shit out of him recently.
Yeah.
It's
a fucking douche.
Apparently it was because they were being catfished by somebody pretending to be him. And apparently it happens a lot. And they gave him like a shit ton of money. So it like culminated. And he fucking attacked him thinking, you know what I mean?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's the weirdest shit, man.
Like, those are the people that's in there. That's why the Nigerian prince fucking scams existed, were people like that. So I think we knew this one because we've seen them wrestle a few times. Steve Austin just wrestled Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy was on not long ago. I don't remember who he wrestled, who he was squashed by. But yeah, the Hardy Boys were around in 96. See, it's like they have all the ingredients right now to make something great. They just need to figure out how to use them.
Yeah.
They've got the Edges. They've got the Hardys. They've got Steve Austin. They've got Mick Foley. They've got Kane. They've got Undertaker. I mean, they have everything they need to put on these amazing shows. They just need to learn how to actually use them.
Right.
So, yeah. And 96 is like an important year. You know, it's a pivotal year. 97, it starts getting a lot better. And by 98, they kind of take the industry back from Ted Turner.
Are you talking about that stuff with Batista and Vince not using him as like a heel again? That sort of reminds me of like Cody Rhodes right now. Like everybody's fucking doing this shit out of him. It's like fucking turn heel. Like, turn your ass heel. I know you're being stubborn as fuck, and you don't want to be a heel, but fucking do it. That's what the fans want. They're booing you because they don't like you as what you're doing. So the obvious conclusion to that would be go heel. Like,
and it's like, I've got to get my win over Malachi Black. Like, no, nobody believes you would fucking
destroy that. Yeah.
Nobody believes that. Like, that dude is a fucking monster, and you're Cody. But yeah, I've thought that since the beginning. Like, that's one reason I didn't watch AEW in the beginning was because of Cody's entrance. I'm like, okay, this is going to be TNA and Jeff Jarrett again. And luckily it's not that bad, but yeah, Cody just screams.
Now it's him and Andre El Idolo or whatever. Like, they're fighting
Charlotte's
too.
Man.
Yeah. They're fighting now, so it's like, the fuck.
I like it better when he comes out and makes announcements every now and then in his little suit and then goes back to the back. I'm just not a big Cody fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah, he thinks he's a fucking superstar. And everyone's like, not
He
really.
does.
You're not Dustin Rhodes or Dusty, so.
But I was in a faction with Randy Orton. It's like, and what was the name of their faction? It was Ted DiBiase Jr., Cody Rhodes, and it was something to do with them all being like second, third generation stars.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of them, but yeah. They didn't have a look or anything. It was just in the regular little fucking shorts.
That's like Arn Anderson's kid is like that in AEW right now. And it's like, dude,
boring.
Like, yeah, it's boring. Do something.
The Legacy. The Legacy, which is basically is Evolution Light. Diet Evolution.
Yeah. Didn't like Ted DiBiase was trying so hard he couldn't do shit with them.
Thank you, Keely. Yeah, like that kind of sucks. Like Ted DiBiase Jr. wasn't British Bulldog's son in there for a minute too, or so many people that I thought were like going to make a splash and they ended up just not. Yeah. So, and some of that could be, just not talent, but also it's just WWE hasn't produced anything good in a long time. And every time they do get some fire, like the Nexus or Zack Ryder, Daniel Bryan, they quash it out because, well, it's not what Vince wanted.
Yep.
Vince wants John Cena.
The reason they're cutting all these people is they need to cut costs because they're building that new, what is it, WWE headquarters or some shit.
The Hall of Fame.
I'm not sure if it's the Hall of Fame, but I know they're building a new building. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's one thing that made me finally just give up was I was waiting for Dean Ambrose to debut. I had watched some of John Moxley's independent work, and he reminded me of Steve Austin.
Yeah.
And then they brought him in as the Shield, and that was half-ass written. Between what they did to Dean Ambrose, like when the Shield starts breaking up and they start really pushing Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and kind of give Dean Ambrose to the mid-card, like, what the fuck? Like, I thought he was going to be the star out of them.
Yeah.
But between that and them fumbling the fucking Wyatt family, who I also had a really good feeling, I'm like, it's not worth watching this anymore.
Yeah. Well, they just had a reunion, the guys from the Wyatt family. They just had like a reunion. It was Strowman and the redhead guy. I forget his name.
Well, Brody Lee died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they ever say what it was?
Rowan and Harper. Something to do with his heart.
Shit.
I'm not sure exactly. It sucks. Like when there'll never be another Undertaker, but I saw the Wyatt family and I'm like, this is going to be their next big, like, kind of paranormal gimmick. Like, this is going to be huge, Bray Wyatt. And they fucked that up.
They even had I was looking at like concepts of stuff they wanted to do with the Fiend and that they wanted to literally like all the people in the Firefly like clubhouse when it was like all normal. They wanted to have a mask for each one of those characters, and he was gonna switch masks and be those characters like the Fiend was, which would have been awesome.
Yes.
And I guess they like buried it, and then the stuff with Alexa Bliss, she was gonna wear a mask too, and it looked freaking creepy as all hell. It would have been awesome.
It's
like
not
that makeup doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't think the Fiend wasn't cool, because it was, and they could have used that a little bit too, but they didn't need that. Just Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family was so fucking intriguing. And they ruined it. They ruined Nexus. They ruined this. They ruined that. Like, because they don't want anything to get too over, except for the brand itself. And they're hurting the brand by doing that.
They destroyed it.
Yeah.
They fucking destroyed it. I won't put that shit on ever.
My dad still watches it, and I like walk over on the other side of the house and look in, and I just shake my head.
I just can't. Even if I want to, I'm like, okay. So when I officially stopped watching was the WrestleMania where Seth Rollins basically held the Money in the Bank all the way to WrestleMania, almost a year, and then cashed in when it was, I think, Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
Right.
And they're like, doing that again.
Yeah, and I was like, this. There's nothing intriguing to me about this fucking WrestleMania. By the time it went off the air, I was just like, it's WrestleMania, and I'm feeling like this. And I don't like Seth Rollins, and now he's all these people that I don't really like. And not even because of storylines, just because I just don't think they're very good at what they do. They're the ones getting pushed. And all the fucking workers and the personalities and the people who would be great are being relegated to the mid card as jokes.
Yep.
It's awful.
Or they cut him.
Cena for fucking over a decade, and it's just, I can't do this anymore.
Cena's still there.
He's not now, but now it's just Roman Reigns, who is just as bad, in my opinion.
Wasn't he sick or something?
Yeah, he was sick, and then when they brought him back, they reformed Shield. Because I was at that show in Philly, and right after that is when fucking Ambrose, John Moxley now, fucking split. So they formed up, and then he fucking splits, and it's like, what the fuck was the point of this? Like, there's like no point of you guys even of doing this.
Yeah.
But I guess he just kind of left Vince like high and dry, kind of.
Well, one of the reasons is because Vince was wanting him to tell Roman, like, I hope you burn in hell. And he's like, Roman's like my brother, dude. Like, we're close. So, I'm sure selfishly, Ambrose was like, one more hurrah with my buddies before I do bounce.
Yeah. Oh, good for him. Big fuck you to Vince. That guy's such a piece of shit.
Agreed.
You guys ever see pictures of Calloway's one son?
No.
Gunnar Vincent.
Nope.
He's got the red hair, like the early photos. He's got the red curly hair.
Oh no shit! Is he big like his dad?
I can't really tell because most of the pictures where he's standing next to him, he looks younger.
Right.
That's
he looks shorter.
Taker's son?
Yeah, Gunnar Vincent Calloway.
Isn't Taker like all into real estate? Like he's made a fortune with real estate.
Holy crap, he's like a mini Taker.
Yeah. Like there's one photo, I don't know where they are, but his hair is like super curly and red.
You've got Becky Lynch next to him.
She's so hot.
Yeah, she is.
And she's married to Seth Rollins. Like, what the fuck?
What a retard. What a retard.
He kind of looks soy-based, man.
Yeah. He looks like a soy version of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A wrestler,
God.
he is not.
Yeah. See, there he kind of looks like his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Fucking walk the dark side for 30 years and then have a soy son. It's like, can't you just be gay?
Toad, that was awesome.
And with that, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up for the night. Number one.
One last thing, Tony.
Yeah.
Did you see the news? I think it dropped about 2 hours ago. Fully vaxxed, LeBron James comes down with COVID.
Good for him. Making progress.
I know, right? This is beautiful.
Couldn't happen to a bigger douche.
Yeah. What was that like last week where he was kicking those fans out of the arena?
Yeah, he had them thrown out because they were heckling him or something.
Like, you know, those seats weren't cheap. They're on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he goes and cries like a bitch to one of the officials. He's literally pointing like a little kid. Like, they were making fun of me. And they have him removed. And like the audience was booing. The fans were booing. Like, he is such a fucking vagina.
Mm-hmm.
He is such a vagina.
How is he making any money? Like, he's like hated universally.
I know, right? I think I was reading in one article, he said that they were Pacers fans or something, too.
Yeah.
The douche James.
Whatever makes him cry harder.
I like that one better.
The bitch James.
He is like, they talk about having the heart of a champion. That ain't LeBron. LeBron is, what's with this lately? Like, even like John Jones in UFC, like, I think there's like a certain, I'm not saying anyone has to act a certain way or anything, but there's a certain responsibility that comes with certain mantles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan was a fucking inspiration to everybody.
Yep.
And then lately it's just like this very selfish, materialistic douchebag. Like, this is how the heel would act in a movie about this kind of attitude.
Right. That's his. I think his name is Queen James.
I guarantee you. I guarantee he's not putting people into underwear like Michael Jordan did.
Like,
but again, you knew it. You knew it with those stupid characters that he came up with. Right? Remember the shitty commercial? He was like trying to really live his life like that. The old man, the business tycoon. Remember all that? He had like 4 personalities or some stupid shit. He was extra gay.
He tries he tries to be portrayed in this way. He has like, he's always reading the first page of a book and uploading the picture onto Twitter, and like, you're not deep, homie. You're a materialistic bitch.
That's exactly what he is.
And it sucks because Space Jam was a classic in my book with Michael Jordan. And it's like, I have no urge to see LeBron James in any movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. He's like a big black Shawn Michaels.
That's probably right around the time he lost his smile.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, guys, we're gonna cut it for the night. Vinny, Tommy, Draven, thank you guys for stopping in and talking some wrestling.
Hell yeah, bro.
Always a pleasure.
Keely Chow kept the chat alive tonight, bro. Thank you.
Hell, Keely.
Yeah.
Keely's the shit.
You know it.
Keely is the man.
Frankie Knows drops in, just drops a fucking bomb, drops some heat. Chris Fisk, awesome. I hope everything's going well at the gym. And Etep Wokuian, sir.
Yeah, hope he's doing better. I
hope you feel better, man.
Yeah.
Fucking go brush your teeth with that horse paste.
Get your boosters.
Yeah. Should have got your booster, bro.
Damn.
I expect the next time that he's on, I want him to look like something out of Resident Evil.
Speaking of that horse
I'm
face.
just saying.
His wife is a giant magnet now.
Magneto. I'm just saying. Last night was a double. There was double the Fouch last night, and then the next day, Etep has the Rona. I mean, I don't believe in coincidences.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
So, yeah, everyone, thank you. We'll be back next week.
I had nothing to do with that. Sorry, you're closing out.
Speaking of horse face,
Oh shit!
hold on, where's it at?
Double the Fouch. Now Etep's got the Rona. She's a Mag Judo. His wife.
Like judo.
Oh shit!
Mag Judo.
That's what we tell the kids. They're all gonna have superpowers like Big Bird. Did Big Bird have a heart attack yet?
Good lord.
Oh shit!
That was
Guinea Pig Collective reported on that one, Vinny. They're all dead except Snuffleupagus because he was smoking weed and taking ivermectin.
And because he was imaginary.
that was pretty fucked up when the Sesame Street characters were on Twitter. My wing's a little sore, but now I'm gonna keep those around me safe. Like, this is fucking weird.
Wow.
This is despotic.
I hope Bobby Kennedy fucking takes him to the cleaners because he's suing all those sons of bitches and including Sanjay Gupta for pushing that shit because they said it's illegal to do that for kids.
Speaking of horse paste, this is a legit box for horse paste from like I want to say like 2012, 2013, back when I worked at a vet place.
What is she doing as she is grunting?
I don't know, but she's got the paste all over her, and it's all over the fucking horse too.
That's not
So,
when I'm done with her, she'll look the same.
but yeah,
It's horse paste. It ain't ivermectin, but it's horse paste.
Yeah,
I imagine women have that same look after they spend a night with Walton.
Oh,
God.
jeez.
But yeah, this shit got sold and put out the door like that. So yeah,
That's fucking awesome. Whatever
horse
moves
doing coke.
units.
mm-hmm.
Feel better, Etep.
Yes. Take some zinc. Take some vitamin D, some vitamin C,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and your boosters.
No boosters.
Say your prayers and take your boosters, brother.
Your Hulkamania vitamins.
And get Mag Judo's autograph for us.
Oh shit.
So, everyone, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be back next week. I think we have more people listening now than all fucking night. We're signing off. That's fucked up. Go back and listen to the replay.
That's right.
Well, at least they're coming in for the reach around, Tony.
Yes.
There
Heyo.
you go.
All right, everyone. We'll be back next week. We might. Etep is a little under the weather. We might be pulling Going Rogue tomorrow with a special guest host, Dr. Fauci. We'll let you know. Keep everyone updated, but make sure you go over to Etep Wokuian's Place to Be Reviews. Hit that bell so you know every time he goes live. Make sure you hit that bell over here, over at VinnieArt, over at Draven, and Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. We've got a plethora of live streams throughout the week to keep you entertained.
Yep.
So
And don't forget, tomorrow he's going to have a special hose.
Is it me?
God damn it.
The Fouch takes over the place to be reviews tomorrow. It ain't going rogue. It's going Fouch.
I am your new god. I am science. I am the Lord.
You all need to listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but everyone pray to me.
I pray every time I get in the chopper. I love you, Fauci. Screw my freedoms.
Nazis don't know how to love.
I'm not really sure about that one, Fauci. I'm pretty sure I could load that question a few different times and fire it right back at you.
You're wrong.
Dr. Fauci, I wasn't a big fan of your documentary. Well, I wasn't a big fan of January 6th.
Absolutely, Keely. Absolutely.
Hell
Yes. Yes.
All I know is I'm saving lives.
January 6th.
You know how you can tell how I'm lying? My mouth is open.
Why didn't you save Ashley Babbitt's life, Dr. Fauci?
We gave her a special kind of injection.
On that note, rest in peace, Ashley Babbitt. She was fucking murdered and nobody cares. Everybody saw
I
it live
care.
on fucking TV. Yeah, Alex Jones cares.
I care.
He kept calling Blair White his wife on Timcast.
Is
Like
that a
it
man?
was yeah. It was funny like the first 3 times, but then it started getting a little like Alex
crap.
wanted to take Blair White home with him. You could
Holy
tell.
shit.
So, but we all have our weaknesses, ladies and gentlemen. Thank
The
you.
frogs are gay. And so is he.
Yes. Yeah, Alex Jones drank the water in Jersey.
Yep. Poor guy.
Yeah. All right, for real this time. Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I love all of you, and we will be back soon.
That's right. Have a great night. Etep.
Take care, all.
Don't forget, man. You know it. I'm going to say it. Oh, shit. I got rid of him. Sorry. Drink your juice, Etep.
Clump 30.